Are we listening? That's what it says. I want to see if you were listening last week. What are the three most important words to humanity right now? Connection, connection, connection. And part of that connection is facilitated, comes about by listening to others. And maybe I'm the only one, and if I am, I apologize for wasting your time talking about this, but I find when I start hearing someone else talk, I'm already planning my profound and clever response. And when I hear somebody telling their story, well, I got better stories than that. And I don't really listen. But when you listen to someone share a thought or an idea or an opinion or tell their story, you know, we all have our story. You may have a chance to learn something about that person. You just never saw that angle before. You never realized that they were quite that sensitive, or quite maybe that angry, or maybe quite that hurt or bruised, or maybe quite that funny. There's no better way to connect with a person than to truly listen. And listen has nothing required after that. It's not a contest. You don't have to respond. You don't have to one up them. Just listen. And perhaps you might hear something profound or interesting or something very novel. And they could say something like connection, connection, connection. And so it is.
I am so glad that Pat sent out the order of service as a final remembrance early this morning because I forgot that I'm supposed to give him any message. And he has faith in me for being able to come up with a talk in a minute because I can talk about anything.
We are listening.
Yeah, that's it. So, I went into my heart and I looked at the themes, and these last couple of weeks have been a roller coaster of a lot of different stuff. I can't sing well, so bear with me. I've been fighting a sinus thing, so I won't sing this one to you, and you've heard me sing it less than perfect before, but the lyrics, I'm going to start off my talk with the lyrics from Seasons of Love from the Broadway Rent. 525,600 minutes, that's repeated a bunch. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife. In 525,600 minutes, how do you measure a year in the life? How about love? That's repeated a bunch of times. How about love? How about love? Measure it in love, seasons of love. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man? It's time now to sing out, though the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember a year in the life of friends. Remember the love, remember the love. Measure in love, measure in love. 525,600 minutes. Seasons of love, oh yeah. Seasons of love. Measure life in seasons of love. In the last several weeks, last night I got to celebrate. I'm getting tearful because it's good stuff. Last night I got to celebrate the 70th birthday of a dear friend who happens to be in recovery. That's part of my life. We get to celebrate the hardest times and the deepest bottoms and the greatest joy in the room because many of us in there are older, wiser, experienced. First time you go underneath the knife for a spinal surgery, it's probably not going to be your only visit, okay? And we're holding up fingers for how many trips we've been through that room. You know, there's always somebody who's listening to make their one-up story bigger than yours as you're telling your journey. And you don't make that decision lightly. But in the last several weeks, I've been able to have celebrations, joy, many different generations of people. I've watched people cross over, people who are my age and younger. What is the difference in my life and theirs? I'm really reflecting and pondering on that a lot. But in this life, I finally came to a decision. You guys know I've been pondering my retirement. I've decided on a date, and I'm going to tell them December 12th. I've made the decision, and there are some wonderful celebrations and occasions in my life. I get to have a bunch of performances. I get to have an opera debut. I'm not good enough, but my teacher thinks I am, right? Okay, and I'm passionate about that. What gets you out of bed in the morning, right? Pat came in here and spoke to an empty room during COVID, and he's a man that needs an audience. He does, okay? I respect that. When you're a performer, when you're on there on the stage, or even when you're standing up here giving a talk, we need feedback. Our energy of what we give to you comes from what you give back to us. And as much as I hated what he was doing during COVID, it sure didn't feed my cup. I wouldn't have wanted his job. I totally respected that. I couldn't do that, to come and speak to an empty room and come up with something hopeful and encouraging and inspiring when you've got nobody to feed off of. I need people. And so those celebrations and the struggles we've had in life is not always hunky-dory, and it's not always smooth waters on the river. I happen to like the white water, right? You bust your tail to get there and go through the rough spots thinking, I'm going to die. Isn't this great, right? Paddling furiously until you get to the smooth stretch, and then you say, oh, God, that was good. Okay, except guess what? The river isn't moving you, and now you got to move the boat. That's how life is. So there's times when it's rough as heck. And there's times when the water is even and smooth, but you got to work a little harder to get through the easy times. And you don't think about that until you're there. My life is good. I'm entering another seasons of my life. This is my autumn. This is when I get to reap my harvest of that long, long life. Okay? Other folks get their autumn and their seasons in different places. I see Summer in the back row. She's still making babies, right? Those babies are growing up. That's summertime happening. For those babies, that's springtime. Some of us in here are in the winter of life, This is seasons. So we all get to have that. And my joy today is that in the middle of more tears, another one of my people I loved and cared for very much is passed, and they live forever in my memories. I also get to celebrate babies, accomplishments, watching somebody who I saw when she was in her mama's belly be this big now, taller than mama, right? How freaking amazing is this wonderful life we get to have? So that's my theme for today. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you very much. That was a great mini message. Well, good morning. It's kind of gloomy outside, but look at this. Look at this. This is amazing. All of you should taste and smell and bask in the beauty of this beauty. But I'm going to tell you from experience, we ought to just be a little bit careful, because it happens. If we do this too often and word gets out, places like Sunset Magazine, they show up. Then they want to start having a picture day. And then you got to talk to the photographer people about the light being right. And then they want interviews. And they want to talk. Turns into a first-class pain. So just not saying anything negative, but just be sensitive that there are ramifications that come from just too much beauty, just so you know. Mr. Meyer, do you have some announcements for us?
Oh, well, I think beauty's worth the risk, all right? I have several of announcements to make. First of all, we're still basking in the glow from our November 15th Thanksgiving Fellowship Day, and I hope that carries over this coming Sunday, November 30th, the last day of the month for our church potluck, and we just want to bring a lot of extra love and thanks to that time, and I just encourage you to be there and encourage someone who is not here today to be there as well. December 4th, Women's Book Study. The 5th, which is a Friday, Ring Out Danger. December 13th, we have a work party Work party in that context is going to be just more inside, so it's weather is not going to impact that too much, and just getting ready for the holiday season. December 14th board meeting. 18th, Joy, is there a women's book study on the 18th as well? So 18th as well. December 21st, I'm just throwing a lot of things out here to you, is our Christmas service, and followed by the last Sunday, and again, potluck day is our burning bowl ritual service. And last year was my first burning bowl, and I know many of you have celebrated that many times and look forward to that. And then again, looking ahead to our annual meeting, which will be January 25th, where we will be, it's hard to believe, looking ahead and planning for 2026. So I would like to just close here with our food barrel. Our food barrel is doing an amazing job all by itself. I have put many things in the food barrel, and it kind of goes up and it kind of goes down. And you know, we can say we don't even have to move it. It's doing what it needs to do. But I would just like to encourage us as a group through this month. Let's do what we can to really fill it up. And if we never move it, if it stays there forever and it goes up and down, that's wonderful. Or we can take it down and have it another one brought in. But just don't forget that there are many people in our community always, but I know we focus on it much this time of the year, who are really dealing with food scarcity. And this is a challenging time, and I just ask you to remember them and work together to meet needs that are beyond our awareness. So thank you.
Thank you, Dick. I was going to say something. Oh, this is the time of our service when we think about, bring into our inner vision and our awareness those within our personal communities that are having challenges, maybe some health issues, money issues, relationship issues, maybe some mental health issues, whatever it might be. We've all gone through the issues, every one of us. We've all waken up in the very, very dark place, sometimes lots and lots of times. But we have, those of us sitting in this room have discovered that within us we have light, we have energy, we have healing power, we have loving power, we have courage power. And so let's holler out some names or speak out some names of people just to have a little identifier on them for the universe. And then we will spend a few minutes and send our love and our peace and our light to wherever it might be needed. Gary?
Patrick. Julian.
Ron. Patrick. So many. Our connection with light, our connection with our fellow human beings, our connection that can give support is so important. It's the most important thing that I feel there is in this life experience we are all going through. So let's share what we have, whatever it might be, with those that can use some. We trust in Spirit to get it right, to the best good, to the highest good, whatever that may be. And so it is. I had a request to do this next song. I remember when I was a little boy, I used to sing it. And my dad would look at me as I would sing it. He said, "You better be. I would be true." Because I could fabricate things a lot when I was a young man. But I think all of us ought to think about, I would be true. How about to ourselves? It's the most important place. Let's stand up and sing "I Would Be True," number 243 in the Wings of Song. And now we have the great honor and opportunity to greet each other in the traditional Church of the Oaks fashion. So I love you, Larry. Good. Good, thanks. What are the three most important words in humanity?
Connection, connection, connection.
One more time.
Connection, connection, connection.
Please remember that. Say it often. Do it all the time. You know, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, where we celebrate our abundance. We can sometimes, I used to have a pretty big family, and we'd sit there and go around the table 3 or 4 times, things we're thankful for. And then within 30 minutes, 2 of the boys would be punching each other in the face. Girls would be pulling hair and ripping their clothes. And so, not typical stuff. But I think maybe the greatest display of gratitude is sharing our abundance. Like Mike and Carrie Steckler did last Saturday. They just wanted to feed people and have people. They shared their abundance. You have no idea what that does to the consciousness, to the flow of abundance, to your inside harmonies. The best demonstration of gratitude is sharing and giving. So as we come up this magic week of turkey time again, let's think, how can we share abundance that we have? Maybe go look in the closet. Good golly, you got 6 blankets and 2 beds. Are you ever going to put 3 blankets on a bed? How about throw a couple of them in the back of the car and go down to where you see somebody stand on a corner, hand them a blanket? How about somebody you haven't talked to on the phone for a year or 5 years? Give them a call and tell them you think about them. You remember what they brought into your life back when you were good buddies, hanging out together, and how you still appreciate those gifts. This time of gratitude, it should be all the time. But our retailers want to have it at this particular time to get ready for the abundance of Christmas shopping.
Oh, yeah.
But let's really ponder this week. Just take the week. How can we share this beautiful abundance that all of us have? Even when things are pretty crummy. I know about things being crummy. I still look around and see abundance everywhere. I am so fortunate and so gifted and so blessed. And all of us are. Even when it's dark and dirty and nasty and painful and scary. Okay, I've raved on enough. Let's read together our affirmation of abundance, maybe. Gratitude is key to the realization and manifestation of our abundance. May we ponder that wisdom, sir, for half a minute. Thank you, Aidan. As we prepare ourselves for our time of meditation, let's sing together, Be Still and Know That I Am God, number 69 in the wings.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Be still, take a breath, and reconnect. This time, connect with your inner self. We all have a story or two, some that we share, and some we only tell ourselves. Take a deep breath. Can you imagine looking into a mirror on your lap? Who do you see? Can you see into those eyes and say namaste? The best in me looks for and finds the best in me. Who do you see? What is it that you're connecting to in the mirror? Who's inside? Do you love yourself enough? Take a breath. Self. Do you acknowledge your successes enough? Take a breath and count the ways. The good you've done for yourself, you've done for others, the giving, and the sharing. Are you grateful enough for the life that you've created? Look deep in the mirror. Look deep in your own eyes. And with grateful thanks, let's spend the next few minutes with that person in the mirror, loving them, telling them the best story of your life, a story of love. Take a deep breath, and away you go. May you be transformed in body, mind, and speech to the purity of infinite mind.
Thank you, Joy. I would like you all to look at your order of service for a moment, if you will, please. A very dear friend of mine sent this first quote to me this week, and I found it simplistic and totally inclusive, much like Deepak Chopra's one statement, there is nothing in the universe but consciousness. And this quote might be a little deep. It might not ring through to you. That's okay. But it might offer you an opportunity to think about some things, what it is. Let's read it together. You don't have to read out loud, you can. Everything that exists in your world is about communion with the infinite. Everything is one of the three: a means to connect, a path to fall away, or a neutral ground awaiting you to transform it into a connection. Which tells you that if something has no role in your purpose of being, it would not exist in your world. And I think about that a bit, and I think, whoa, all this obtuse stuff that comes flying in sometimes. Where in the world did that come from? Well, evidently, it's supposed to be part of my process. And I spend a great deal of time focusing on studying and thinking and listening in a place of what I call and feel is connection. I work at it, I focus on it. And then there's times when I am the most unconnected, not connected in any way, and happy about it. And then there are other times when I'm sitting at my junk computer playing solitaire, and that's the latter. I'm just in limbo, nothing. I'm not connected, unconnected. I'm just sitting there with nothing. I think all of us are there. All of us have those three times, those three parts of our lives. But everything that happens in your life is an opportunity. Dick was speaking about when we were talking before church this morning. That's an opportunity. Everything that comes along is an opportunity to learn something, to connect with your higher self, to connect with that internal tranquility, that internal rhythm that is the same rhythm and frequency as peace itself. When we're able to connect with that and divine, things change. They just do. If you ever think about somebody, guy's a jerk, just goes around blowing up stuff all the time, he's a jerk, until you found out that And I'm talking about a specific individual now that I don't think any of you know, but he used to mow the grass for us here a long time ago. He could be a jerk. He was a jerk. But the reason was he was a jerk. Two guys waited outside the store for him one night and beat him with a tire iron and a ball bat, fractured his skull in 4 places, and left him for dead after they stole his wallet. And he had a long way back, and some of it was disconnected, but he could sit down and have conversation about things that were so connected and so thoughtful. And he was in such a place of realization as to his good fortune to still be alive, as his good fortune to still have a relationship with his family. But he had cause to be disconnected. And we all go through that. I talk about the second line, and that one thing is the foundation of a joy-filled life. I'm going to ask you to think of a time when you felt like you were running in the spirit mode. You were connected. Janice got to go to Redwood Gospel Mission Thanksgiving feast and volunteer. She says it's a mystical experience to go there and volunteer. And all of us do something. We take somebody who's a shut-in to the doctor, to the grocery store. We do something that, when we're in that connected, doing the best thing, the highest good, and thinking about the good of the whole. And in that time frame, in that space, in that moment, you can't feel anything but joy and self-satisfaction. Being in the connected mode cannot give you any feeling or emotion except joy and satisfaction and happiness. You're not going to find any of that outside your own self. You can find some fun things to do and some pleasure, but not real joy, not real self-satisfaction. And sometimes you can feel that when you aren't even aware that you're connected. When you're just doing something that is in alignment with your own divine, with your own inner self. You're in that groove, in that wavelength. How many Thanksgivings, think about to yourself, you don't have to tell me, but how many Thanksgivings have we been around a table with family and stuff and felt just like we were shining, just like glowing. It was so good. It was warm inside. It was just like pumpkin pie inside and outside both. It was just so good. And there have been other times, I'm sure, for every single one of us. We've been at Thanksgiving and it's like, why did I decide to do this? This is not comfortable. This is not. Well, I think in those times, we're overlooking an opportunity. Yeah, I haven't spoken to that son of a gun in 3 years, and I doubt that I will this time. Why not? Why not connect with your higher self? Let's go all the judgment and stuff. Say hi. And I think we may have gone off the wrong foot or something. And didn't get along. I apologize for that if it was my fault. I don't know. But I've really enjoyed our company down through the years. And I'd like to be able to continue. I'd like to have some sort of relationship, some sort of friendship. Because it actually doesn't feel good at all to be angry or disconnected with somebody. It doesn't. It feels horrible.